What's up, friends? It's Rachel, and we're back for part two. So, first of all, thank you for such a warm welcome. I really love that you love these videos and that you're eager for more. I am too. I really missed making them. Actually, that's not true. I don't really miss much, but I do love making them, and I knew I would come back to them eventually. So, I want to talk about this really big theme that I felt before all of this really went down. I realized that my greatest desire was to be able to live completely in the moment and to be able to make my decisions based solely on how I was feeling at that time. So even little things like planning what I would have for dinner if it was still lunchtime drove me insane. So that's how I knew that there was an imbalance there. When I get irritated, I know that I'm not listening to myself and I'm not giving myself what I need. It's never about anybody else. I really wanted to have the ability to travel at a moment's notice. I wanted to be able to go left instead of right when I was on a road trip. I wanted to have no deadlines. I just wanted to absolutely be immersed in the moment and live from there. And knowing the whole time that that's the only place that we really exist in anyway. So it was almost like I was taking this conceptual thing of we only have power in the moment is the only thing that exists, and making it super real. And I felt like I wasn't even the one choosing that. It was like being chosen for me. And you may have had that experience in your life too, where it's like you did something, but you realize, well, that wasn't me, or I didn't really do that, or you feel like words came out of your mouth that you didn't really even choose. That is what this has all felt like. So there was this really deep need to live in the moment, and nothing was preventing me from that except for me. But it was just, I had this feeling and this urge, and it seemed like something really big needed to happen in order to allow me to have that life, even though it was really just an inner choice. That originally manifested as a feeling of questioning my life, like questioning being in a relationship and syncing up a schedule with another person and planning family stuff and having a business. Like everything kind of came into question when I had that really intense feeling in the beginning. And I had to kind of go with it every day and just focus on feeling really good so that that all got worked out. Because I didn't want to make a decision based on an imbalance. I didn't want to make a decision that was rushed. I only wanted to make a decision based on feeling inspired to something else. I didn't want to leave a situation without being called to something new, because I knew that if I just left something, then I would actually just bring it with me because I was avoiding it. And throughout, I guess, the course of about a year, I really allowed myself to calm down, to find out what I really wanted in my heart. What was the feeling I was chasing? What was the feeling I really wanted to have? And I found out how to allow myself that feeling without anything outside of me changing. And that was really, really, really important for me, because it's never your outside circumstances that dictate how you feel. You are always choosing how you feel. I was choosing how to feel in every single moment, regardless of what was on my outside. And it also doubly showed me that it's never anything on the outside of us that is controlling our lives. That is all a secondary thing, right? Nothing outside of you has control over you. You absolutely always have complete control over you. And so I was living in some patterns, right? Like I was doing some things every day. I was used to a certain lifestyle. I was used to people around me. But they weren't the ones creating my life for me. I was doing that. And I wanted to be really, really clear about what I wanted before I made any kind of action. So that was really a huge thing for me. And that allowed my whole big transition, when I actually did take a big step, to be pretty painless and pretty easy. Living in the moment is so much more than waiting to make dinner plans, right? Or like just choosing what I want to do in each moment. It's kind of everything. So when you live in the moment, you're never impatient. When you live in the moment, you're satisfied, and there's never a lack of things to be excited about and appreciative about. When you really live in the moment, you have access to everything. You can choose absolutely anything you want. And you become really good at noticing what your options are, knowing how you're feeling at any given time, and catching yourself when you go into a negative place. And why that's so important to me is because I know that I'm the one that creates my reality by whatever I'm focusing on. And so if I want to create a situation where I'm worried about money, I can listen to podcasts about people who are worried about money. I can watch shows about people who are poor or lacking money. I can go on the news and see how bad our economy is doing. I can put my focus on all kinds of evidence that there's a lack of money. Or I can choose to focus on stories of wealth and people who are doing really great, and on stores that are making a lot of money or whatever. So the moment gives me the choice of where to put my focus. And that in turn creates a new scenario, a new situation, a new feeling for me. And it creates more of what I want because I'm choosing what to focus on. I love the phrase, we're paying attention, because we're really paying our focus. Our focus is our biggest asset, other than just our connection and who we are, right? If who we are is a given, then our focus is our biggest asset. And whatever we pay our focus to is creating what is coming next in our life. And I think that is so underrated right now. I think we're not really stepping into that in a way that we could. I'm not even, like, there's way more to go. And that's exciting to me because I know the more I am in the moment and the more I'm choosing my focus, the clearer I'm getting for the future, and the easier and better and more fulfilled my life is gonna be. My goodness. And so what happened, right? Like, I've been telling you how I was feeling and all this stuff. What actually happened in my life is that I moved out of living with my partner. I moved into my RV. I sold my RV and bought a minivan and converted that into a camper. And I have also been house sitting and staying with some family. So I've kind of been all over the place. At this very moment, I am with my cats at Eric's new house in Utah and absolutely loving it. And one of the big other things, that will probably be a separate video, is that the definitions of relationships has left me. Throughout all of this, right, being in the moment, living in the moment, I notice what's not true for me anymore. And a lot of stuff is not true for me anymore that I used to play into. One of those being definitions for relationships. A lover, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, family, just friends. Like, none of that means anything to me. And it really never did. But I just didn't know any better than to have those defining roles. I was a wife, I was a girlfriend, I was a lover. And even though I had been in open sexual relationships before, and we didn't call ourselves girlfriend, boyfriend, that was still just with a couple people in my life. Now the feeling really is there's no definition at all, and that plays deeper into living in the moment. In the moment, I exist with other people. If I'm sharing a moment with a person, it wants to play out naturally. I don't want to have a defined role or a definition on what can or cannot happen with that person. And as you play deeper into the moment, if you live in the moment more often, a lot of things will come up that just you realize aren't real. They're just constructs. We were just playing into them, and you don't feel right living by them anymore. Let me know how you feel about this, if this makes sense to you at all. If you find yourself living more in the moment, if you are afraid of living more in the moment because you feel like you're going to forget things, or that your life's going to go to shit, or like you need to plan. I notice that when people view my life, a lot of times there are certain judgments made or observations made, like I don't have any structure, or I'm unemotional. And that's okay, because that's the filter that they're perceiving with, and that's perfectly great. It's not how I feel, though. I definitely have structure in my life. I definitely have, commitments and bonds and relationships and all the kind of things that everyone has. But they just might look a little bit different, and I probably manage them very differently. And I can get into that in the future if that's something you want to learn more about. How do I manage my life if I'm just living in the moment? So that would be a great topic for a video. Let me know if you want to hear more about that. If you want me to pick out anything from this video specifically to make a whole video on, let me know. I think the one on relationships would probably be really helpful, but let me know. I can't wait to make more. Super, super love to you, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.